What's up, guys? I got the keys here back with another video. So, today we're going to talk about the spiritual ego and how this is really tied into the community right now because it's getting really bad. Um, so, you know, the ego likes to adapt to, things. So, even when you become spiritual, then it wants to grab onto all the spiritual lingo. Oh, I'm high vibes. Oh, I only eat fruit. Oh, I only do this. Oh, I meditate for 7 hours a day. Oh, like this is what the stuff I'm talking about. Um, and you're gonna see a lot of these people. Now, this is not to judge them. This is just simply pointing out what is going on. Okay. Um, I'm not better than anybody else. Um, I just want to get that out of the way, right? So people leave behind the cars and the money and the clothes, right? But then they jump into, you know, pure diet and meditation for hours on end and um having a collection of crystals and being high vibes all the time. Fuck that. No. No. Don't fall into that. Nothing wrong with these things, right? Nothing wrong with crystals, but they're not going to change anything if you don't change. Okay. They're simply a tool to help. They're not going to save your life. They are not an idol to be worshipped. They are simply a rock. Okay. And they carry a certain energy. That is the only reason you use them, for a certain reason, right? Um, let's get on to the next part here because it's like what if I told you that, judging somebody for eating a hamburger, right? Or having a bad day is literally just the ego wearing a mask, right? It's literally just it's like the ego wearing a spiritual mask, right? So what we don't understand is that true spirituality, like, it meets people, right, where they are. That means if they don't meditate, that's okay. That doesn't mean they're not spiritual, right? Um, other examples, but I'm just giving one. So, you know, the spiritual ego will isolate and look down on other people instead, right? So, oh, you're not doing this. Oh, then I'm high vibes. You're not. Oh, it could go so far, right? But it's like it's really, really, really annoying, and it's really bad. Um, it's just as bad as the materialism. There's nothing wrong with having material things, right? But when we praise and worship those things over our, over God, right? That's weird. Okay. Um, having those things is great, right? But we thank God for them, right? God gave them to us. So, anyways, so the second part here I'm going to talk about is the whole diet scene, right? The fruitarians and the vegetarians and the vegans and the carnivores, and it's like, which one do I choose? Because there's seven different people saying a different thing each time you scroll down Instagram or Facebook, and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't eat that, and then you shouldn't eat this, and if you eat this, you have parasites, and if this is that," and then it gets so fucking annoying, guys. It is beyond ridiculous because you feel like you can't live life. You might as well just not even breathe air. You might as well just die. It's probably easier, you know. Um, so this creates division more than it does unity, because now, oh, well, I eat fruit and I only talk to people that eat fruit. It's like, what the fuck, dude? That's weird. You know? Um, it's a huge trap. You know what I mean? And I really, really pray you guys don't get stuck in this shit. Um, so it's like, is your diet connecting you to Earth, or is it disconnecting you from human beings? Okay. It's great to eat clean and honor your body and all that good stuff, right? That's fantastic, awesome, but do that on your own terms. And when you feel right to switch, and when you learn something, okay, cool, I'll make the small change to add that to my diet, or cut this out of my diet, right? um it doesn't need to be all overnight and just, oh, I'm a fruitarian now, I only eat fruits. No. Not that that's wrong. If you want to be a fruitarian, great. But you don't need to tell everybody else to do it too, because it works for you. See what I'm saying? Um, you don't see me coming on here and telling everybody, oh, you have to eat meat and you have to eat fruit and you have to eat this. And no, I tell you to eat whatever you need to eat, whatever you need for nutrients. That is your decision. Okay. Um, So, the moment that a diet, makes somebody feel superior to another soul, right? Or to another person, that's the trap right there. Nobody is superior to another, no matter who they are, not even Jesus. Jesus literally told you, you can do the same things as I and greater, right? Okay. So it's no longer about health at that point. That's about control and superiority. Big no. Nature does not judge. Only the human mind does that. Okay? Just remember that. Um, it's not like Earth is out here yelling at a lion for eating a bird, or whatever, lions eat. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not out here saying, hey, you can't do that. It's bad for you, right? So, like, I understand that they are carnivores, right? I understand that they are meat eaters, and that's what they do. Um, so are human beings, guys. Not that you have to eat meat, right? That's your choice. I'm just saying, we have the teeth to also tear apart meat. Okay. Um, Now, I'm a huge advocate of also praying over your food, right? Before you eat, just because you never know with today. Okay. No matter what the food is, it doesn't matter if it's fruits or not, because anything can be pesticide sprayed, to, GMOs, to it's just it's bad, guys. Let's be honest. America is not the greatest for food, okay? Um so, I think, putting your intention over your food is a huge thing. Even if you just do it in your mind, it doesn't have to be externally all the time, but I think that's important. Um but again, you don't have to do what I say. So, then there's the third part of this, where the high vibes only shit, right? Oh, you shouldn't be angry. That's low vibes. Oh, get away from me. I'm high vibes all the time. Hmm. Sounds a lot like an ego, right? Um, Trust me, I got stuck in this shit too, guys. I walked around feeling like I was God and nobody else was, right? Um, Even though internally I knew the opposite. It's that everybody is God, right? Not the external person, but the inner being of every person is God, right? Um, so this is where the spiritual bypassing comes in, because Um, people will use spirituality to avoid their emotions and to avoid the trauma and the shadows that are going on in their life rather than sitting with them, facing them, and actually asking, why am I feeling this? What is going on within me that this is happening? This takes a lot of strength. This takes a lot of resilience. This takes a lot of discipline and work, right? Um, to understand that, hey, I'm feeling this for a reason. It's okay to feel things. It's okay to have a bad thought every once in a while, right? Our mind has a filtration system. We have to understand that. So, not every thought is going to manifest. I know people will put that out to you that, oh, every word you say and every thought you say, in your mind is going to manifest. But no, it is what you focus on intensely, right? Um, So, if you keep revisiting that bad thought, yes, it could manifest, right? That's where it becomes a problem. Um, but, overall, this is making people afraid of their own humanity. And that is a problem, right? We need to know how to be humans at the same time. Just because you're a divine being, beyond this world does not mean you're not a human right now experiencing it. Okay. Um, so, you can't reach true alignment by suppressing half of your human nature. Okay. um so anger, grief, frustration, right? These are gifts. Okay, these are showing you where things are out of alignment. Okay, these are data, you could say, right? Information. And now you can look at them and say, okay, why am I angry? What is triggered in me that made me angry? Right? These are signs from the old self. Okay. And there is such thing as divine anger, guys. Do you think that you're angry for no reason? No. Like if somebody pisses you off at a job, okay, why did they piss me off and how? Right? What got so to me that pissed me off? That's what I need to work on, right? I know, and it's annoying. Don't get me wrong. It is fucking annoying, and it's something that you have faced. You have to face. I had to do it with plenty of jobs. I've got fired from jobs for this stuff, guys, because I couldn't deal with it. I got so pissed off, I stormed out of the place, right? Um so, you know, um a mastered spirit, right? It knows how to sit with the dark things too, not just run to the light. And I've said this before in past videos. If you're not willing to face your darkness, you are never going to actually find your real light. Okay? Because your light is within your darkness. All right? So, I want to remind you guys about integration, alignment, right? And authenticity, most importantly, right? Be who you are. Don't try to be anybody else. Be who you want to be. Be who you are. Truly. Love, humility, empathy, sympathy, divine will, wisdom, right? All of these things are characteristics of the Creator. Okay? That is what we truly are. But that doesn't mean you can't experience the other side to remember. Okay? So, if you are somebody that is working on these things, okay? Um, and maybe you just, need to sit down with somebody, talk about it, get things out, right? I'm doing one-on-one consultations. So if that's what you're looking for, please set up a video call with me and we will talk about things. We will get things planned out, right? We will get things and really break down and look at what's going on with you. Not that anything's broken, right? But more or less just pointing out, hey, where can I notice the things about myself, right? So all of that information will be down in the description. All you gotta do is send me an email with your name and a short description of what's going on, even if it's just to talk. Okay. Um, with that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.